I wish you could wear more back. I don't know, so I've got one copy of each, just kind of cool to look back. The very first one, 2000, we've got John Kerhayetz on the cover as a junior in high school. Now, old guy, old dad sitting there with a beard. But it's kind of cool having that turnover, having kids play for me that they now have kids. That's pretty cool. And then a copy of state program from each of the years that we've been in the state tournament. Dug that stuff out, just thought it'd be kind of cool to look at. So as we're here, we'll be here till 6, and then the awards program will start in the auditorium at 6 p.m. So help yourself. What I need is juniors, 10th graders, 9th graders. You can go in the gym and sit in the bleachers so I can talk to you for a couple minutes. And then seniors, you can start with food, and then parents start after the seniors. So thank you everybody. Yeah, that's right. This right here. As always, I will start with our thank yous. I got to thank all the game workers. It's a lot of work to set up the game field. All the people that the chain gang, the clock workers, the announcers, putting the flags up on the light poles on the road on the way down to the game. Mr. Hodge does that. But all those people that do all those little things, so that when you get to the game field, it is ready for a game. Everything is set up super nice. Visiting teams that come, officials that come, they praise this field. They love everything about it. There's no track around the field, so you're not way back away from the field like you are at other places. You're right on top of the players. You're right on top of the field. Everything about it is kind of an old-time, old-school type feel, and people really notice that. We just kind of take it for granted because it's the way it's always been here. But people who come from other towns and play at our field, they love playing here. So I got to thank all the game workers, Daryl Herzog, who did all the groundskeeping work this year. Everything was in great shape. The ambulance crew who was there at every game, in case there were any major injuries, anything. We always had professional help there, medical help. To help our kids and help the opposing team if we ever needed that. Volunteers for them to show up and be there for us. So I thank the ambulance crew all the time they put in. Coleman's Laundromat. After every game, home or away, I've got a key to the laundromat back door. And the piles of sweaty, the worst was after Pine City, maybe that was the Pine City game. That was complete mud. But they just, all the jerseys and pants, they just all get pumped into a big laundry bay, and I throw them inside the laundromat, and he's there the next morning soaking everything, taking care of everything, has it all folded and clean and ready for the next week. They do a great job, and I really appreciate that they'll do that for us, because that's a ton of work to keep these guys looking nice out on the field. Newspaper, radio, TV, any kind of coverage that we get, local, and the Duluth area, and anybody else that covers Rebel football. It's great to have us out there and have us available for people to see what we're doing, see how hard these kids work. They do a great job. So everybody who's involved with Rebel football as far as putting those games on and making them a lot of fun to be at, so we all, as fans, can just show up and enjoy the game. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that do a ton of work, and I thank all those people. I've got to thank Jennifer Zerbach and anybody who's helped her with the scrapbook. I don't know if she's in here now. She was right out. Oh, there she is. But you saw the scrapbooks. I put them all out there. This is the first time that I put them all out there. I saved one a year just for history purposes. And it's fun to look back. You see that one from 2000, the first one that we did. Sandy Bohati and Deanne Zook were the ones who got that going. And then the next year, other parents jumped in and helped, and it's growing from there to where now it's professionally done. And so you can see the difference year to year. And the best thing about that is just the memories that these kids will have. Take one of those home and look at it, a little bit now, but more when they have kids of their own, and hopefully kids of their own that are playing sports and want to know, well, what'd you do in high school? And you can pull up scrapbook and go through it and show, and then we have grandkids. It's a great thing to have, to be able to remember the great experiences that you hopefully had here with Rebel football, and to be able to share that with your sons and daughters and your grandkids. So thank you for all that work, because it is important to have that memory as a player, to be able to pass that on to your kids and your grandkids. It'll be really important someday to have those. So thank you, Jen, and anybody who's helped you with that. Rory Buckowitz, you got to come forward.
What?
You got to come forward again. It's one thing. Rory has obviously been filming everything Rebel football for years and years and years. Brendan going through, and then Bryson going through. But obviously now kids graduated, and Rory is still here, volunteering his time, and I really appreciate it.
Hey.
It's a big deal. I get emotional a lot of things. I put a lot of time into these kids in this program, and we just the support that we get is amazing. So, for you to still want to be a part of this with your kids gone, and I love that you are still a part of Rebel football, and for as long as you want a video, I'll always have a spot for you on the sideline and in the buses. So,
well, the toughest game was there in Brainerd, because we left from there and drove straight through for Bryson's game in Illinois, and then we drove straight through. We had about an hour or so we found the fields, parked there, and took a little nap. And
that's what I'm saying is to have that kind of commitment and dedication to you boys. Hopefully you really appreciate that, because he drove through the night then to watch Bryson play in Illinois, and you don't have to be there, and you still are, and you put it out on YouTube for people to see, and it just amazes me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I want to thank Dan Peterson. Where's Dan? Our new ball person, took over halfway through the season, scrambling, needed a new ball person. Dan stepped in, and we didn't even miss a beat. Dan did a great job this year, and for as long as you want that job, as long as I'm around coaching, I would love to have you on the sidelines with us, maybe even past when Garrett graduates, and we'd like to still keep doing it. It is the best seat in the house. You're right on the sideline with the coaches, with the kids, the referees, everything. So did a great job. Thank you, Dan, for stepping in. I really appreciate that. I thank Chris Ketchmark, all the years that he's put in, helping on the sidelines. Kids get dinged up. He's there for the kids. And Nick Allard, who's helped us the last couple of years through Mercy, to have those guys on our sideline to watch over these kids is really important. Obviously, as coaches, game goes on. Kid twists an ankle, sprains a finger, gets dislocated, or whatever. To have people like that to give the kids attention, and like I said, the game continues on, so we're able to coach, and we know the kids are in good hands. People watching over them, making sure they're okay, and letting us know, yeah, they can go back to the game, or no, they're done. And so we can move on from that. I really appreciate the time that they put in. Hopefully they'll be around for years to come, because they love everything about Rebel football and working with you boys. And again, it's all volunteer that they show up and volunteer their time and love being around you guys. Junior high coaches, Chris Gams, Jeremy Hansen, and then we have a bunch of volunteers, parents who help 7th grade, who help with the 8th grade. Junior high programs in great hands with Chris and Jeremy as leaders, and then all the great parents that help out also. Right on down then into our elementary program. Jeremy heads up our elementary program, and again, very organized, and just everything about Rebel football I hope we're doing things the right way as far as trying to teach life lessons and getting them from 3rd grade right on through to 12th grade, that this all is way more than just football. This is teaching life lessons, things that hopefully these kids will take with them for the rest of their lives as far as sacrifice, success, commitment, being a family, accepting your role, all those things that I talk about daily to these kids. It's really important stuff, and it's not about the winning and the losing, or it's not about who the starters are and the non-starters. It's about the family and again, just being a part of this great thing that is Rebel football and these great kids that do everything. So our junior high coaches working with those young kids, moving them up to us. Again, it blows my mind how this has grown over the years. Way bigger than any one person or any community or whatever. It's a huge deal. And I hope everybody appreciates that, because the success and everything that comes year after year, a lot of people just take that for granted. Rebel football is going to be section champions again. And there's so much more that goes into it than just winning games and being section champions. And unless you're with us day to day and listen to me talk in the locker room and the interactions with our assistant coaches and everything else, Rebel football is so much more than football. And it's really cool. But I thank the parents, all of you parents that are here, supporting your kids, because it is a big sacrifice. It's a lot of time. The spaghetti dinners every Thursday night, tailgating before games, the scrapbooks, coach buses, raising money, making sure that these kids have the best experience possible. We couldn't do half the things that we do if you parents didn't do what you do. So all of you players, you need to clap for your parents. Every year, parents, if you are going through any of your kids' drawers, closet, under their bed, whatever, and you come across anything that is Rebel football that we should have back, please take it from them and return it, because obviously I'm working on the same equipment budget now that I had 20 years ago. Helmet prices, shoulder pad price, everything has gone up in those 20 years. I have the exact same budget now to spend as I had 20 years ago. Nothing has changed. So anything that is Rebel football that we need for practice next year, that we need for games next year, we do need back, because the players, they just go in and grab more knee pads, more thigh pads, more girdles, more practice jerseys, whatever, like it's an endless supply. And I do my best to make it an endless supply, but obviously budgets are tight, and anything that you do come across at home, anything that these guys have, get it back to me if you can, because we do need all that stuff back for next year and the year after. We use things as long as we can. Any of you guys that have things that we need back for next year, make sure we get it back, please. I would appreciate that. And then the last thank you, as far as making me who I am. With my family, I always thank my family, my parents, and boys, my niece Shauna. She all came to see you all the way. Shauna, you want to stand up? Right. But I got to thank my family for the support that they've always shown. Obviously, with Dylan going through playing Rebel football, traveling to games and whatever, but he's done and graduated, and they love everything about Rebel football. I appreciate all the support. So thank you. Okay, a couple more things. After this, if we can get help cleaning up the cafeteria, tables need to be washed. They stay down, but the tables need to be washed. Any serving spoons that came out of the kitchen, we need to wash. That 10-gallon cooler, we need to wash. Some of those tables put away, garbage taken out, things like that. So anybody who can help for 10, 15 minutes after we're done, so we can clean up the kitchen area, cafeteria, I would appreciate that. Anybody that I forgot to thank, again, I thank. Again, this is growing to be such a huge, Rebel football is such a huge thing, not just for these communities, but in the state of Minnesota, people are aware of Rebel football. And it just amazes me when I meet someone from southern Minnesota and they know about Moose Lake Rural River football. That it just, anybody who I'm forgetting to thank, I appreciate all the support and what this has become. Coaches, can you come on up here, assistant coaches, real quick? Gotta thank these guys. Again, we wouldn't be able to do what we do without these guys showing up every day. Not here, Matt Najelski has been with us the last couple of years. He does our stats, shows up at some practices, great guy to have around. Will Carlson has been with us the last couple of years, shows up for spaghetti dinner, shows up for coach buses. We'll take whatever help we can get. Head basketball coach Wes Cummins with us for a number of years, coaching with us. Again, does a great job. Has to go right from the football season, no break into the basketball season. That's a huge deal. I really appreciate that he still does that because it's a grind. To be a coach is a grind. And to go from one season right into the next season with no break, tough for his family, tough on him, and I really appreciate all the time that he puts in and continues to coach with us. Kevin Zerbach, volunteer coach, is here just as much as any other coach, does a great job coaching the offensive, defensive line, and then as far as film breakdown, watching game film, with the players, teaching the kids what to key on, what to watch for. Does a great job for us. Please give Coach Zerbach a hand. Again, obviously now, second son is graduated, Aiden is graduating. Hopefully Coach Zerbach will stick around and be a part of this group for as long as we all want to be a group and keep coaching this because he does a great job. Coach Andres, also the head track coach, but coaches the D-backs and helps coach offense, has been with us for a number of years, comes from a successful football program in Pierce, so knows what it takes to be a part of a really good, dominant football program, and has helped instill that here at Moose Lake Rural River as well. Give Coach Andres a Coach Battaglia coaches the JV, coaches their D-backs, helps coach on offense, is up in the tower during games, up in the booth during games, giving Coach Dahl all sorts of really good insight into what's going on as far as the game is progressing. He's been with us for a number of years. Assistant baseball coach, I'm assuming you're done? He's retired also. But then again, these guys that coach multiple sports, it's a huge commitment that they're willing to do the football, do other sports. He's done a great job, does a great job with the kids, and I think we have a really good coaching staff, really enjoyable, and at some point if these guys all would go, I don't think I could break in and work with another group. I love being around these guys, and I think we really work well together and love being around these kids. So Coach Battaglia, please give them a hand. Coach Dahl is my offensive coordinator. Again, I think it's so cool that as a former player, was a player for me the first few years as a head coach, came back as a volunteer assistant, then was gone for a year or two and then came back again and has moved to the point where he's our offensive coordinator. I love having former Rebel football players around. They know, again, what I preach and what I'm looking for and what's important to this program. And he's done a great job as far as giving us some different formations and different looks, but maintaining what our base is, that double wing power running offense. That's our identity, that's who we are, and then instilling some other concepts and things that open things up a little bit. He's done a great job, so please give Coach Dahl. And Coach Bohati, sporting the shorts today. He's got, must have like at least 15 different Rebel shirts he could wear. and then 4 or 5 different shorts and or pants that he could wear, and he's probably spent all week trying to come up with the right color combination, right? But he's looking good today, right? He's looking good, James. James has been my right-hand man for as long as I've been here. I've been here at Willow River for 24 years, coaching Rebel football for 24 years. James was a junior when I started. We played pig, 7th hour, horse in the gym, shooting baskets. He's also a basketball player at the time. But every 7th hour, we play horse or pig, and then we drive to Moose Lake. He was manager, and I was assistant coach at that time. But and you know, it's never ended. We've been doing it for the last 24 years, driving to Moose Lake together after school was done, coaching Rebel football. And you know, like I said, he's my right-hand man. He keeps me organized. Reminds me things that need to be done, and stays on top of things. He's gotten grumpier as he's gotten older. not quite as fun to be around as he used to be when he was younger, but I guess that just comes with age. But everybody give James a lot. Thank you for all that you guys do. How many of you want to talk? Okay, as I hand out these awards with letters, certificates, everything, as you look at your certificates, anything, if I misspelled your name, misspelled anything, don't be afraid to approach me and let me know. Some of the things I can fix tonight with a different certificate, other things we'll get to you, but as you see, there's a lot to go through here, so if I forgot somebody, make sure you let me know at the end of the evening because we'll take care of it. Or if I misspelled something, make sure you let me know so we take care of it. Because again, I try and remember everything, try and take care of everything, but things get missed, forgotten, or whatever. So if any mistake is made, don't feel bad about pointing it out to me. Okay, it's okay. Let me know. If I can first have our 2 managers come up, please. So we've got 2 managers, new this year, and hopefully they'll be with us for a number of years to come, but it's really important to have good, reliable, responsible managers, because there's a ton of work to do. When they show up right away, they start filling water jugs, filling water bottles, getting ice. For games, there's a whole hallway of equipment that everything gets out in the hallway, and then we gotta make sure everything gets packed into the trailers. And then once we get to wherever it is we're going, everything's set up on the sidelines. There is a ton of work to do as managers. They show up every day, whether it's 80 degrees and super humid, or raining and 28, snowing 28, whatever we have, bad weather, good weather. They're here just like the players every day. They're expected to be there every day, and they are. And they work just as hard. Hopefully all you players appreciate the work that these 2 do. Because again, you would be filling up the water bottles if they weren't here to do that, and the water jugs and all that fun stuff. So these 2 do a ton of work, they get a ton of credit, and I really appreciate all that they do. Players, give them a round of applause. Okay, so I have Olivia, Laurie, and section medal. When we win section championship, they give us 40 medals. We always have more than 40 to hand out. So then I order more, but congratulations, Olivia, and thank you for everything that you do. I appreciate that. Okay, 9th graders, come on up. And Jackson, you might as well come up too with the 9th graders. Ethan, just stay over there. Okay, as far as our lettering policy goes, players have to play in 1 more quarter than games we play. So if we play 11 games like we did this year, they would have to play in 12 quarters. But the other part of our lettering policy is if we qualify for the state tournament, everybody who's on that roster and continues to practice for an extra couple of weeks, an extra couple of games, everybody letters. So again, in most years, 12 out of the last 13 years, we've been fortunate to be able to letter all of our football players because of the success that we've had in the length of our season. We do have one 8th grader. When the junior high season ended, and this is the first time this has happened, Jackson Thompson came to the coach's office and said, Coach, can I keep practicing? Yeah, of course. Love that. So, he suited up and kept practicing. He played in the scout team against our starters on offense, defense, and then gave him a jersey and was on our sidelines for throughout the playoffs, through the section championship and the state playoff game. Love that enthusiasm and to have that willingness and want to be a part of Rebel football. I'm going to hand out your letter certificates to Jackson. You are getting one also first, and then any of you that didn't get a section championship medal, I'll get those to you also. Okay. So Jackson Thompson. You all got medals? Sam, you need one? Okay. All right, thank you, freshmen. Okay, 10th graders, come on up, please. When I talked to these kids, when you guys started eating, I had 9th, 10th, 11th graders. I just talked about the fact that I went to a state semifinal game, watched Barnesville. I went to the Prep Bowl game, watched Caledonia, and we're one of those teams. We're in the state tournament every year. But what separates Caledonia from these kids? They all look just like these kids. The difference is just the explosive power and speed, getting in the weight room, the weight training, becoming a stronger athlete. Because they're all Caledonia, they're all basketball players or wrestlers. They're all track athletes and baseball players and football players, just like these kids in multiple sports, which is, I tell these kids all season long, I would much prefer them in other sports than just being a football player. And most of our kids are, that's awesome. But they're also finding time to get in the weight room and make themselves stronger. And there's nothing, they're not 350-pound kids in Caledonia. They're just stronger and faster because they spend time, they're at their basketball practice or their wrestling practice or football practice or track practice or whatever, but they also make time to work out and get stronger and develop some of that explosive power. And that's the difference between those kids and these kids. So hopefully I try to motivate as far as spending some time doing push-ups at home, stacking wood. Any of you parent, you have outside work for these kids to do. Don't be afraid to make them split wood, stack wood, pick rocks out of the field, flip tractor tires. All that kind of stuff is amazing, and it's not just for football. Like I told these kids, the basketball players, the hockey players, the track athletes, the baseball players, they're going to be amazing in all of those sports with that kind of explosive power. So hopefully you as parents can also motivate these kids to do a little bit more than just go to practice. Because state champions do more than just go to practice. Because every team in Minnesota practices, but why is one team always winning a state championship? Because we're all practicing, well they do extra, and that's kind of what it takes. And with those 9th graders, 10th graders, and the juniors, that's what we're hoping to get to that point. We've seen Caledonia a few times, and we're 0-3 against them. Hopefully we get another shot at that. So 10th graders, Ray Bloom. Brody Hoffman. Louis Kliniski. Blake Jewell. Brody Motes. Carter Johnson. Mason Olson. Brady Watson. Okay, that's our 10th graders. Juniors, come on up. Okay, I told these guys on the day that we collected equipment, they're seniors now as far as this football program goes. They're the leaders. They're who everybody else needs to look up to and start working towards next year because August will be here before you know it. This is our group of seniors to be. Seniors next year are leaders for next year. So hopefully you do a good job and learn from these seniors this year. These seniors this year I think did an outstanding job. And hopefully you remember that, learn from that, and improve on that. Make things even better this year or next year. So juniors, Bradley, Charles Bucher. Keegan Noyes. Austin Contact. Logan Prevets. Gardner Kenyon. Wyatt Jordan. Eli Werner. And Ben Dewey. Hey, this is our juniors, seniors next year. Okay, seniors, coming up. Okay, this group of seniors is, every group of seniors obviously is really special, but this group went through some adversity to start the season, and it didn't matter as far as understanding that the team comes first, and being leaders, and leading at practice, leading in games, leading this team and these other, the juniors, the freshmen, the 10th graders. This group of seniors did a great job. I'm very proud of everything that you guys did this season because, again, there were opportunities for distraction. There were opportunities to tear this team apart, and you guys, I mean, you are what Rebel football is supposed to be. And again, every team follows the seniors, good or bad. That's just the way it works. And again, this was an amazing season. And I can't say enough good things about this group as a group. I think they are one of the best groups of seniors that I've had as far as leaders. And just doing things the right way. I really appreciate that, and I hope that you all know how much I do appreciate that. Because again, we had some injuries, we had all sorts of things going on in the early season that could have just totally ripped this team apart. And you guys, by the way you led and the way you acted, and being a family and buying into all of that, you guys did an amazing job. So please give them all a round of applause. Okay, Matthew Lane. Johan Prihamäki. Carter Clun. Logan Peterson. Adam Dragicevic. Jewel. Aiden Cybert. Jeremiah Weebdorf. Aiden Zurbach. Yoma Glushka. Danny Lilia. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's our seniors. Good job, seniors. Thank you. Okay, Spotlight and Scholarship. As athletes, we obviously want these kids to do well in the classroom. They need to do well in the classroom in order to be eligible. So these athletes have averaged above a 3.0 or better in the classroom, which is really important. Logan Overdahl. Congratulations, Logan. Sam Dewey. Henry Ribbage. Congratulations, Henry. Ethan Burton. Micah Helfman. Congratulations, Micah. And Alice Watron. Those are our ninth graders. The 10th graders, Mason Olson. Congratulations, Mason. Ben Steen. Carter Johnson. Brady Watson. Brody Moats. Louis Kliniski. Okay, that's our 10th graders. Juniors, Austin Tomczak. Ben Dewey. Logan Capetz. Eli Werner. Okay, seniors, Johan Prihamäki. Logan seniors to be leaders as a group, but obviously we need someone to go out and flip the coin beginning of the game, talk to the team, lead stretches, all those kinds of things. And as voted by the players, we have a group of captains who come from that group of leaders, that group of seniors. And again, this year, really good group of captains. Did a great job giving speeches, being the vocal leader, being the leadership team leader, all sorts of different areas where some of these guys kind of took charge and made sure things were going the way they should go. And again, hopefully juniors next year, whoever comes out of your group as captains, again, can pay attention when we have a good group of captains, that we keep that going and keep getting better year after year. So I really want to thank these guys for being the leaders of that senior group, the whole senior group, like I said, it was a great group this year. But these guys did an outstanding job. Danny Lilia. Oswald, Bo Moffitt, Logan Peterson, Keith Murbach, all the players are divided into 4 leadership teams. Anytime they do extra things for our team, for them, makes them better, makes our team better, they get extra points. And then end of the week, they get a sticker for their helmet. The team with the fewest points has to clean the locker room, clean the buses all week, and then we start all over again. At the end of each month, we have a pizza party for that team that, again, has the most points for that week. And this year, more than any other year, one group just dominated. Nobody else could break the code. They dominated week after week. It was dynasty this year. It was dynasty. So I could have all the Bubble Lovers come up here, please. Bubble Lovers. Because they stay out on the practice field and flip the tractor tire, or they go in the weight room, they lift weights, or they grab a football and keep punting or kicking or catching footballs, and kind of football athlete related type things. Where these guys shine, and good, bad, whatever, where they shine was in making best friends with the point giver. I'm not the point giver. Okay, this is not my deal. I'm not the point giver. The point giver is James Wahadi. And these guys figured out early on that if they make best friends with the point giver, that they're going to be in no problem. And they did dominate. I think there was only 2 weeks all year where these guys didn't lose. And the one week was a setup, because I was tired of them winning every week. I had enough of them winning. They were pretty cocky. So the week that homecoming week, Bo Moffitt, football player, was king, right, Bo?
Right.
So Bo put in for points for being the homecoming king. And what I did was I told James, no, don't assign any points yet. I said, count up all the points, and whatever Bo's team is behind the Bubba Lovas, give Bo one more point than that so they win. So Bo, for being king, Bo got 1,400. So that was enough to put the Trent Hayden squad over the Bubba Lovas that week. So good job, Trent Hayden squad. So Bubba Lovas, good job this year. Ben Newey. Carter Klein. Henry Rivich. Logan Overdahl. Sounds like there's some jealousy. Blake Jewell. second biggest sucker? Okay, that's the bubble ovens. Or what? Okay, next certificates are Ironman. Ironman's given out each week to players. Usually it's one person. Some weeks it's multiple players who really stand out, do extra. That week, do extra conditioning, work extra hard for whatever reason, just kind of stand out because everybody works hard. But when you do something to separate yourself from everybody else, we call you an Ironman. You earn a sticker for your helmet and a certificate at the end of the season here. Ben Dewey. Wayne Broughton. Congratulations, Wayne. Annie Williams. Philip Sheets. Congratulations, Philip. Henry Ribbons. Brent Jewell. Congratulations, Trump. Eli Werner. Logan Overdahl. Congratulations, Logan. Blake Jewell. Brandon Oswald. Congratulations, Annie. Austin Tomzak. And on this next one, he decided 1 week of how many weeks do we have this season?
1 day.
13. Well, it's more than 1 day. Always more than 1 day. But for 1 week, this one person finally decided he's going to do up downs. He's going to do all our sprints. Run the 30-second 100. He knows it's coming. Run the 30-second 100s. So he shined for 1 week. Bo Moffitt. Brody Hoffman. Congratulations, Brody. Matthew Lane. Logan Peterson. Ian Gerbach. Ethan Martin. Those are our Ironmen. Okay, and then each week we have a scout team player of the week. I tell the kids, our starters, they are who they are. Our scout team players, they are who they are. But everybody is equal. We cannot have a great team without a great scout team. Our starters will not get any better day to day, week to week, unless we have great scout team players that take their job seriously and make our starters better. So when our starters are successful, it's because completely of the job that the scout team players do. So we really appreciate that, and we really try and focus on the fact that, again, we talk about it as far as our Rebel football goals, accepting your role on the team. Everybody has a role. And it is just as important to be a starter as it is to be a JV player, as it is to be a scout team player. We can't be successful without all of those things happening. So we do recognize a scout team player each week as the scout team player of the week. They do an outstanding job, again, in making us successful, because if our starters don't have anybody pushing them, we're not going to be any better. We're not going to be section champions. We're not going to challenge in a state tournament. We have to have great scout team players. Scout team player of the week, Carter Klund. Teo McGlushka. Congratulations. Henry Ribbich. Congratulations, Henry. Brent Jewell. Keegan Noyes. And Eden Seibert. So again, these guys, along with others out there, they push our starters every week and they make us successful. And it's important that we have people that will do that. So congratulations, thank you very much. Okay, Aiden Zerbach, come on up here, please. Okay, last few years here now, we've given out every game we give out big blocks. We look for offensive linemen who engage a defensive player, and then the whole goal is to stay engaged with that defensive player to the point where they put that defensive player on their back and ideally land on top of them and pancake them to the ground. We call it a big block. This year we did it a little different. Instead of just strictly getting big blocks, kids got points for good blocks. And then for every 3 points, got a big block sticker for their helmet. So this year, our big block winner, as far as the person who got the most big blocks, would be Aiden Zerbach with 50 big blocks. It is a little fishy. Coach Zerbach is the one who does all the point. Aiden wins the award that his dad is in charge of.
And Aiden knows that I'd probably be the hardest on him.
That's probably true, actually.
He did just tell me.
Probably had 75, he just didn't give you all the points. Hey, Ray Lasser, come on up here, please. Okay, as far as defense goes, we do really stress takeaways, interceptions, fumble recoveries, things like that. And this year, Brady had more takeaways than anybody else on the team. He had 3 interceptions and 1 fumble recovery for a total of 4. Congratulations. Okay, we give out skull stickers for the helmet. Those are our Mad Dog defense. For every 10 points that a player earns defensively, they get a skull sticker for their helmet. Every quarterback sack, they get a skull sticker for their helmet. And then the person at the end of the year that had the most skull stickers is our Mad Dog defensive player. Logan, come on up here, Logan Peterson. This year he had 99 tackles, 3 quarterback sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and 1 fumble recovery. Congratulations. And then offensively, players get star stickers for their helmet for offense. Every 150 yards of total offense that we get, running backs that rush for 100 yards, every 100 yards that they rush, quarterbacks every 100 yards they pass for, receivers 100 yards every 100 yards they catch receptions for, every touchdown gets a star. And again, at the end of the year, the person who had the most stars, the most offensive stickers, is our Mad Hog winner, Trent Jewell. Come on up here, please. Trent Jewell had 200 rushes for 1,323 yards, which is a 6.62 yard per average or per carry average. He had 13 rushing touchdowns, 4 receptions for 34 yards, and scored 98 total points in touchdowns and 2-point conversions. Congratulations. Okay, next is our Hawks Award. For every game film-wise, we look for like the best, biggest hit, which gets a hammer, and then the kid who isn't paying attention and gets hit, doesn't take a good shot. Used to be called nailed, but then Brett Hawkins had the ultimate nail. So now we've called this award Hawked for a number of years, and Brett Hawkins' picture is on the award as part of the legacy. But these are guys who got Hawked during the season, and they get a Hawk sticker for their helmet, and we watch it on the highlight film, make fun of it, and move on to the next week. So Hermantown game, Carter Clun got hot. Virginia, Brady Watron got hot. International Falls, Eli Werner got hot. Esco, Brody Moats. This one, probably at first, but hold on a second. Brody against Esco in the same play, he got hot twice, not just once, twice. And luckily, these all don't always show up in video like really good, but Brody's did. It was on a punt. We were punting out of the end zone. So when we get to the highlight film and we're watching us punt out of Esco's end zone, and I've got a little highlight bubble. So watch on the first hawk. It'll highlight Brody, and then he gets knocked good. He does, to his credit, he gets right up and runs to the tackle, to the pile, and gets hawked the second time. So make sure when he gets knocked down, still follow him in the play in the highlight film, and you'll see the second hawk, but he got hawked twice in the same play. Crosby Ironton, Adam Dragisevich. How does a big guy like you get hot?
The guy blocking in the back.
Period. We have a multiple second-time Hawk winner against Aiken, Carter Clun. Okay, this one will show up on the highlight film also. Mesabi East, Logan Overdahl. He is returning the kickoff. And again, I'll have a highlight bubble on it, so I'll point him out, and then he gets hawked. Royalton, Tioma got hawked against Royalton. Hey, those are our hawked people. Okay, hold on, come up here, please. Okay, so we talk about the importance of getting better every year, of improving, getting stronger, getting faster, getting more powerful, right? Everything. So last season, Bo Moffitt averaged 14 and a half yards per carry. Trent, how many yards did you?
6.6.
Okay, last year, Bo Moffitt averaged 14 and a half yards per carry. But how many touchdowns did you score last year? Last year, how many touchdowns did you score? 0. Okay. This year, Bo Moffitt rushed for 28 and a half yards per carry and scored a touchdown. Okay, next is voted on by the coaches in our sub-district, which used to be like conferences. Our all-district honorable mention players, Brady Watron. Blake Jewell. And Matthew Lane. Okay, that's our honorable mentions. Good job, guys. Then our all-district players, Logan Peterson. Adam Dragisevich. Anakin Oswald. And Aiden Zerbacher. Also, we vote for a most valuable lineman, a most valuable offensive player, most valuable defensive player in our conference. Last year, Aiden was the most valuable lineman of the conference, and this year coaches voted him as the most valuable defensive player of the conference. Hey, Johan. Where's Johan? Come on up here, Johan. Okay, so Johan's from Finland, right? From Finland. He was late joining us because he played football in Finland, and I'm thinking football, soccer. But no, he played football in Finland, and he was part of a team that won a championship, correct? National champion. So I'm all right. We got a football player coming. And then it was Johan who showed up. I'm just kidding. But so my first day in the locker room, Johan, just trying to get Johan used to me and how I like to tease people. Johan with the J, we're in America. Johan, that should start with a Y, not a J, right?
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm asking, I'm not a world traveler, so I'm asking, well, in Finland, how do you spell yo-yo? And I'm expecting Y-O-Y-O. How do you spell yo-yo in Finland? J-O-J. Then he confirmed me that you spell yo-yo, J-O-J-O, like Johan. But Johan was great to have with us this year, and obviously did have some football skill. I hope you had a lot of fun playing American football in America. Probably a little different from what you're used to, the club football in Finland, but hopefully it was a good experience. But I did just recently find out national champions, but they play with a Nerf foam ball. That's not American football. I'm giving him an American football to take back. They don't really play with the Nerf ball. But he did have an interception in practice. You had two? I remember the one. I don't remember the second one. So you earned that football from that interception. Not because you played with Nerf. Okay. Top 10 this year. Top 10 list I had up there. Anybody can grab top 10. Since I started coaching, I've kept track of. I didn't have much for records from before when I coached, so I started records. Top 10 rushing yards, points scored, tackles, all that kind of stuff. For all the years that I've been head coach. This year, first I want to recognize from last year because I messed this up completely. I was so busy recognizing my son that, Logan, stand up here. I got to recognize you properly. This is from last year, and then we'll go to this year. But Logan was number 3 on our tackle list, all-time tackle list. And we had Thomas and also a few others. But Logan was number 3, and the really impressive thing about last year, going back to last year, because I screwed this up last year, but Logan and Dylan as a pair of linebackers are the number 1 pair of linebackers, tackle-wise, that we've ever had in the 20 years that I've been a head coach. The next 2 best, who were number 1 until Dylan and Logan passed them last year, was Matt Hilbrand and Mike Speast way back in the year 2000. So last year, Logan did an amazing job as a linebacker, and again, I messed up recognizing him, so I wanted to make sure that we recognize him for the amazing year that he had last year, carried it into this year. It is number 3. It says number 4 on our list, but the top 2 are tied, Joe Bunk and Dylan. Tied number 1, then number 2 is whoever, Logan Peterson is number 3 on our top 10 list, which is a huge deal because we haven't had kids enter into that top 10 list so high for a number of years, so congratulations on that. This year's people who made the top 10 list, and we just platform after I get through all 3, but in receiving, number 6 on the top 10 list, Brady Watron had 25 receptions for 341 yards, so that puts him at number 6 all-time in the 20 years that I've been head coach. As far as our top 10 list, so congratulations, Brady. Mason Olson at quarterback, he had 62 completions on 129 attempts for 844 yards. That puts him at number 4 on our quarterback list for passing yards in our top 10. And then Aiden Zerbach, quarterback sacks, he had 8 sacks. Where did that put you? I didn't write down the number. Number 4 on quarterback sacks, and moved him past Ezra, which was a huge deal, right? Moved him past Ezra on our quarterback sack list. So give them a round of applause. Okay, and then the Duluth News Tribune always puts out an all-area team. We had one player recognized, made the all-area team, and that was Aiden Zerbach. Congratulations, Aiden. Okay, next we have hammers. Okay, so hammers are our big hit of the game. Again, it has to be legal hits. We make sure we teach things correctly, and anything that would be illegal, unsportsmanlike, anything like that. Number 1, you can't win any awards, and number 2, if it's unsportsmanlike, they're coming out of the game. If it's something just completely cheap shot, and whatever, as coaches, we make sure we teach our kids the right way to play football, and it's really important. But these kids had good hits, and football is a physical game. So they win a hammer sticker for their helmet, and then they get a hammer at the end of the season here. And with the footballs and the hammers, the painting, our art teacher, Christy Patterson, has done these paintings for me since 2000. First time that we went to state semifinals, I've had her paint footballs and paint the award for us, and she does an awesome job. So if you know Christy, you see her, thank her for the time she puts in doing this. So our scrimmage Hammer Award winner was Logan Peterson. Hermantown, Logan Overdahl. International Falls, Blake Jewell. Virginia, Brody Hoffman. Esco, Trent Jewell. Mora, Blake Jewell. Crosby Ironton, Tion Blaschka. Oh yeah, I got Tioma's hit on the highlight film, so you'll see it. You'll see it. You'll see it. Let's see. Pine City was Adam Dragisevich. Aiken was Adam Dragisevich.
Big guy.
Sabi East, Trent Jewell. And Royalton, Logan Peterson. Okay, our MVPs. These footballs, these are always hard to give up because we have so many deserving players, but we do pick one to win these awards, and I'd like to recognize those. We'll start with our JV, Junior Varsity MVP. That would be Logan Overdahl. Congratulations. Okay, our scout team MVP. This is the person we're looking for who, for some players, we have to beg them to get out and play scout team defense, beg people to come out and play scout team offense, or scout team kickoff, kick return. This guy, he was already out there all the time, jumping in, kind of leading things. Our scout team MVP is Carter Clunt. Congratulations, Carter. Good job. Okay, our most improved, this was probably the easiest one that we had figuring out. This was a player who last year at Aiken got to a point in the game where looking to put other kids in, and I asked this kid, you want to defensive end, you want to get in and play a little bit, and looked at me, didn't even want, for whatever reason, it's fine, but didn't want to get in, no problem. This year was a starter for us right from the beginning of the year. Never missed a play, never missed a game. Definitely our most improved, Matthew Lane. Okay, offensive line MVP. Few players that obviously could get this award. Again, difficult decision, but one that I think is very well deserved. Our offensive line MVP is Adam Dragicevic. Defensive line, same thing. We had a great defensive line this year. A lot of good players. But defensive line MVP would be Aiden Zerbach. Offensive MVP, Mad Hog winner, had a great season, Trent Jewell. Defensive MVP, again, just a leader in our defense. You watch game film, you watch how fast this person reacts to a play, how quickly they get to the ball. It's amazing. Logan Peterson is our And team-wise, normally we only give out one award. This year, gave out two co-team MVPs. And again, I think it's very well deserved. We spent a lot of time discussing and going through this as coaches to make sure that these aren't just awards that are just thrown to anybody. We really work hard to do a good job and give these awards to the people who deserve them. But like I said, we went with co-MVPs as far as our team goes. And again, I think it was very well deserved. Aiden Zerbach and Logan Peterson. And congratulations. Okay, one more football to give out. Bo Moffitt, come on up here. So Bo Moffitt scored a touchdown in the section championship game. That was pretty exciting. Right? And this is the football that he was carrying into the end zone. See the L on it? The referees marked that before the game. That's the football that you scored a touchdown with. I gotta tell a quick Bo Moffitt story as long as I got him up here. Okay. So one day we're at practice, I don't know, it's like a Wednesday or whatever, and I think it's Miss Steen's fault probably, right? Probably Miss Steen's fault. That Bo was running late for practice, he had a meeting. Maybe it was you were in trouble with Miss Steen, I don't know what it was, but you were running late for a meeting, and so he's really worried about the fact that he's gonna be late for practice. And so we got word. I knew ahead of time that Bo was going to be late, so I'm telling all the players, okay, Bo's going to be late. I'm going to act like I'm really mad at him, like I'm upset. He's a captain, he's a senior, he can't be late for practice. So I'm telling all the players, no, I'm going to act. I'm not really mad, but I'm going to act like I'm mad. And someone came up, we should ignore Bo. Let's just ignore him. Yeah, that's a good idea. So Bo, he shows up about a half hour late for practice, comes strolling in, and first he stands by Coach Andres, and Coach Andres is doing it really hard, because how can you ignore Bo? Bo comes right up to you, and Andres is kind of walking away, walking around, trying to act busy, ignoring Bo, and then he goes over to Coach Dahl, and he's following Coach Dahl around, and Coach Dahl is struggling, trying to ignore Bo, and And so then he's starting to walk through the players. We're doing his pregame, I think. No, I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We're doing like kickoff, kick return, and he's walking through, and nobody is giving Bo any attention at all. Bo, if you haven't guessed, Bo loves attention. Yeah, Bo, you like attention? And so players, everybody's doing a great job. Everybody is ignoring Bo, like he's not even out there. He's wandering around, and I'm feeling bad, but I'm also laughing on the inside. So then he starts heading off to the school, and I'm worried. I'm worried that he's leaving. He's so mad he's just gonna leave. So I do yell to him, "Hey Bo, where are you going?" So I'm going to get changed. Okay, well good. So he's not leaving, like walking out on us. He's just going to get changed, come back out. So he comes back out. We go back to ignoring him again, and now we're doing team defense. And so I got my defensive rotators. They're behind me. I'm out in the middle of the field calling defensive plays. We're going against scout team offense. And Bo is back out there, and again, everybody's doing a great job ignoring Bo, not giving him any attention at all. And Bo comes and I'm calling defense, he comes, stands right next to me, and nothing. I'm not saying nothing. And he'll go back to the players behind me, and still nothing. Well, then he comes up, and I'm standing, and I'm not paying attention. He comes up and he holds my hand. Holding my hand. So I'm standing trying to look the other way. So he's holding my hand, trying to get me to acknowledge that he's there. It was really tough. So finally, after about an hour, we finally did start acknowledging Bo. That was really tough, wasn't it? Yeah. That was a hard practice. But everybody did a really good job of spending most of the practice ignoring Bo. That's my Bo story. So congratulations on the touchdown, Bo. Very well done.
Put him out the door, Jack.
Okay, so as far as these award boards go, players earn stickers, stars, skulls, prides, hammers, dog bones, O's, monster blocks, 101%. They all mean something to the team and to the player. Some are individual awards, some are team awards, some go to starters, some go to people who are not starters. Everybody has the opportunity to earn stickers. Seniors, what I do is keep track of how many stickers you earn, what you earn, and then at the end of the year, order these boards, and James and I put these together for you guys. So this is what you earn for stickers for this year. Not all 4 years that you were Rebel football players, but these are the stickers that these players earned for this senior season. I've been doing this for a number of years. It takes a long time to put these together, but I think they turn out really cool. So Logan Peterson. Dan Lilia. Aiden Seibert. Aiden Zerbach. Matthew Lane. Chioma Bashka. Trent Jewell. Anakin Oswald. Yeah, they should do this. Yeah. Jeremiah Weendorf. Adam Dragicevic. And if I missed anything, make sure you let me know. I've got all the stickers in my office, and I want to get these right. So if I missed anything, make sure you let me know. Johan Rehaman. Carter Klund. And Bo Moffitt. Okay, these are our seniors. Give them a hand, please. Okay, have a seat. Hold on. Wait. Another few. Oh, wait. No. Go. Then we have to highlight Bo Moffitt. Okay, Bo Moffitt, he's got a star, and that's his touchdown. That signifies the touchdown he scored at section final. But my favorite sticker on Bo's board is this Hawk sticker. Even though he didn't get a Hawk award because he didn't officially get hawked in a game, although he kind of did, I got it in highlights, against Mesabi East, I think it was. Yeah. He always runs. I have him run to the sideline to me. I'm his target point, and I always tell him if he doesn't go out of bounds, I'm going on in the field. I'm going to tackle him because we're not scoring. We're not trying to score on any opponents or anything like that. So I'm his target. Okay, when he gets the ball, he runs to me. Well, I wanted it to be the last play of the game against Mesabi East. I didn't want him to run out of bounds, stop the clock, and have to run a second play. So I told the referee, as he's coming towards me, I told the referee, I'm going to tackle him in bounds, so just keep the clock running. So Bo is running at me, and I'm trying to stop him before he actually goes out of bounds. I'm telling Bo, drop, like go down, so then the clock just runs out. Well, he drops the football on the ground. Okay? So then, no, pick the football up, so he picks the football up, and as he picks the football up, I shove him to the ground, tackle him, and we end the game there, the clock runs out. So I do have that on highlights, you can watch that. But my actual favorite Hawks, he in practice, pre-game practice, Coach Dahl calls him over to run an offense, last offensive play, team offense. So he's running and he's going to run across the field and score. Well, I'm kind of hiding in our defensive players, and it's a muddy day. Our field got really wet through the season. It was a wet fall, and so he's running like he's going to score a touchdown, and his eye, everything is focused straight ahead. All of a sudden, I come out of the crowd of defense, and I level him in the mud and tackle him in the mud. So he got completely hot from practice. Okay, that is it.
Hold on, the players got your little special gift, and we got some money in there, and we also got some extra special gifts. You can open it now if you want. But I would like
Say, knowing these guys is probably inappropriate. I can guess what it is. Is this something I'd share with James Blatty? Thank you very much. I'm going to set up the video, and we've got our highlight film. I'm afraid to open what's in here, but thank you very much. And thank you, everybody that's here. Thank you. Is it a fatty patty? Oh, actually, it's going to work. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, I just want to say about the highlights as this all is turning on here. The Mora game, if you watch our highlights, it looks like we played really good. We gave up 300 plus yards rushing to one of their running backs and 50 points. But if you watch our highlights, it looks like we probably won. So our highlights turned out really good. But whoever head coach, if he was any good, would hire a new defensive coordinator because We didn't stop him at all. But highlights looks really good.
What's your costume?
This one's good. It's me. It was me as the defensive coordinator. Okay, thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the support and great job, great season, everybody. Oh, got something to say. Sorry, boys. You're welcome, Bo. You're welcome. Thank you. And I'm hoping you come coach with us next year. Yep. You've got to go for an
He did, we've got to talk about you. You want to call him? Okay? You get the tea, but that's all. Good.
You're gonna be, Bo, next year you're gonna be the assistant to the head assistant. All right, thank you, everybody.
I'll put it in my